Greetings. This is day 2 of Pictures of Doom 3 on the subject of Sodom and Gomorrah from Jude verse 7. We left off in Genesis chapter 14 at verse 5 where it says, "And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims that were in Ashtaroth, the Carnaim and the Zumans in Ham, and the Emans in Shabbath Kiratha." Now I should note that all those groups they named are actually giants also. The kings of the city of the plains are forced to flee into the mountains, and their cities are spoiled according to Genesis 14:6 through 11. It says, "And the Horites in their Mount Seir unto Ephraim, which is by the wilderness, and they returned and came to Emmasphat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwell in Hazor on Tamar. And they went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zor, and they joined with them in battle in the vale of Siddim, with Chedorlaomer the king of Elam, and Tidal king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Eleazar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountains. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals, and went their way." We should note that part of the spoil that they took was Lot and his goods, according to verse 12. "And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son," that is, Abraham's nephew, "who now dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed." Originally, he pitched his tent towards Sodom. Now he's dwelling in Sodom. The progression of the prohibition of Psalm 1 is violated by Lot. He has walked in the counsel of the ungodly when he chose based upon the flesh. He stood in the way of sinners when he pitched his tent toward Sodom, and he sat in the seat of the scornful as he sat in the gate of Sodom with him. These cities of the plain are not mentioned again until chapter 18 of Genesis, verses 16 and 17 and 20 through 22. It says, "And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? And the Lord said, Behold, the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord." Now you might remember how Abraham intercedes to have the city spared. If God can find 50 righteous, then 45, then 40, then 35, then 20, and then 10. I count Lot's family. Lot and his wife are 2. He had at least 3 daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws, and he had 2 unmarried daughters. That's 10. So if Lot had just one his own family, then all 5 of these cities of the plain could have been spared. These 5 cities were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea, it says. If we remember that Moses recorded this history after the fact by inspiration, that we should notice what was 5 cities in a vale in Moses' time, the Salt Sea. For all the plain of Jordan, the vale of Siddim, to be transformed from a well-watered plain to the salt or Dead Sea, it is evident that something had to happen, and something did, as we will see.